15 mind-blowing facts about Israel, the most unique country in Asia travel documentary. Number 15, Israel, the country that shouldn't matter, but absolutely does. Let's cut the nonsense. Israel isn't just a country, it's a miracle with a Wi-Fi signal. It's the size of New Jersey, and yet it moves global conversations like it owns the damn mic. Everyone's watching it, arguing about it, obsessing over it. And whether you're cheering or criticizing, you're paying attention. That's power. Now look at the map. Israel is literally boxed in Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and the Mediterranean Sea. It's like playing poker at a table full of sharks, and still managing to bluff your way into a win. That's Israel. A nation that's not supposed to survive, but somehow thrives. Geographically, it makes no sense. Mountains, deserts, forests, seashores, fertile valleys, all crammed into one strip of land like a divine game of Tetris. You want snow? Go north. You want desert heat? Head south. You want nightlife that'll melt your socks off? Tel Aviv's got you covered, in glitter and hummus. Population? Nearly 9.8 million, with over 90% living in urban zones. That's not a population. That's a pressure cooker. And somehow, the energy works. It's fast, loud, and unapologetically alive. People don't just talk here. They declare. They argue. They live out loud. It's like the entire country is caffeinated and emotionally invested 24/7. And then there's the language. Hebrew? Dead. As in used to be carved in stone dead. But now, it's back. Resurrected like a linguistic Lazarus. Try reviving Latin and making it cool. Israel did that with Hebrew. Plus, Arabic's an official language, and English? Spoken so well, you might forget you're not in Brooklyn. It's a country where ancient scrolls and AI robots exist on the same street. Where ultra-Orthodox Jews brush shoulders with pride parades. Where every contradiction somehow finds a way to function. Not peacefully, always, but functionally. And that's what blows your mind. So drop a 15 in the comments if this tiny country just smacked you with more complexity than most superpowers combined. Think it's overhyped? Or are you finally seeing the weight it pulls? Either way, stick around. Because fact 14 is about to take everything you thought you knew about Israel, and flip it on its head. Number 14, Israeli women, power, grace, and absolute no-nonsense energy. Let me say this straight, if you think Israeli women are just side characters in some desert drama, you haven't been paying attention, you've been sleepwalking through reality. These women don't play background. They build the story, write the story, and when necessary, they'll flip the whole damn plot. First off, education. Over 50% of Israeli women have university degrees. Not some honorary nonsense, real degrees, in medicine, law, tech, physics. While you were figuring out how to reheat leftovers without melting your Tupperware, Israeli women were launching startups, decoding diseases, and debating foreign policy over espresso. Stay humble. And then get this, mandatory military service. Yeah, that's right. Not optional. At 18, they're not posting dance trends on TikTok, they're training with rifles, handling logistics, commanding units. While you're ghosting gym day 3 weeks in a row, she's out there doing 5 a.m. drills and leading men twice her size. And then she'll probably walk into Tel Aviv University and ace quantum mechanics. That's not a woman, that's a force of nature in designer boots. Now let's talk presence. Israeli women aren't waiting to be told where to sit at the table. They bring their own chair, slam it down, and ask why everyone else is so quiet. In politics, they've held top positions. In science and tech, they're patenting ideas before most folks finish their coffee. In arts and culture, they're rewriting what it means to be modern, spiritual, and brutally brilliant all at once. And don't even get me started on family. Somehow, in the middle of running nations and navigating conflict zones, they raise kids, manage households, and still find time to outdress you at brunch. They juggle more hats than a magician on Red Bull. It's not feminism, it's functionality. No whining. No waiting. Just doing. So listen carefully, if you're intimidated, good. You should be. Because Israeli women aren't asking for permission. They've already built the future. You're just catching up. So drop a 14 in the comments if you respect the grind, the fire, and the raw edge these women bring every single day. Number 15, Israel, the country that shouldn't matter. But absolutely does. Let's cut the nonsense. Israel isn't just a country, it's a miracle with a Wi-Fi signal. It's the size of New Jersey, and yet it moves global conversations like it owns the damn mic. Everyone's watching it, arguing about it, obsessing over it. And whether you're cheering or criticizing, you're paying attention. That's power. Now look at the map. Israel is literally boxed in Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and the Mediterranean Sea. It's like playing poker at a table full of sharks, and still managing to bluff your way into a win. That's Israel. A nation that's not supposed to survive, but somehow thrives. Geographically, it makes no sense. Mountains, deserts, forests, seashores, fertile valleys, all crammed into one strip of land like a divine game of Tetris. You want snow? Go north. You want desert heat? Head south. You want nightlife that'll melt your socks off? Tel Aviv's got you covered, in glitter and hummus. Population? Nearly 9.8 million, with over 90% living in urban zones. That's not a population. That's a pressure cooker. And somehow, the energy works. It's fast, loud, and unapologetically alive. People don't just talk here. They declare. They argue. They live out loud. It's like the entire country is caffeinated and emotionally invested 24/7. And then there's the language. Hebrew? Dead. As in used to be carved in stone dead. But now, it's back. Resurrected like a linguistic Lazarus. Try reviving Latin and making it cool. Israel did that with Hebrew. Plus, Arabic's an official language, and English? Spoken so well, you might forget you're not in Brooklyn. It's a country where ancient scrolls and AI robots exist on the same street. Where ultra-Orthodox Jews brush shoulders with pride parades. Where every contradiction somehow finds a way to function. Not peacefully, always, but functionally. And that's what blows your mind. So drop a 15 in the comments if this tiny country just smacked you with more complexity than most superpowers combined. Think it's overhyped? Or are you finally seeing the weight it pulls? Either way, stick around. Because Fact 14 is about to take everything you thought you knew about Israel, and flip it on its head. Number 14, Israeli women, power, grace, and absolute no-nonsense energy. Let me say this straight, if you think Israeli women are just side characters in some desert drama, you haven't been paying attention, you've been sleepwalking through reality. These women don't play background. They build the story, write the story, and when necessary, they'll flip the whole damn plot. First off, education. Over 50% of Israeli women have university degrees. Not some honorary nonsense, real degrees, in medicine, law, tech, physics. While you were figuring out how to reheat leftovers without melting your Tupperware, Israeli women were launching startups, decoding diseases, and debating foreign policy over espresso. Stay humble. And then get this, mandatory military service. Yeah, that's right. Not optional. At 18, they're not posting dance trends on TikTok, they're training with rifles, handling logistics, commanding units. While you're ghosting gym day 3 weeks in a row, she's out there doing 5 a.m. drills and leading men twice her size. And then she'll probably walk into Tel Aviv University and ace quantum mechanics. That's not a woman, that's a force of nature in designer boots. Now let's talk presence. Israeli women aren't waiting to be told where to sit at the table. They bring their own chair, slam it down, and ask why everyone else is so quiet. In politics, they've held top positions. In science and tech, they're patenting ideas before most folks finish their coffee. In arts and culture, they're rewriting what it means to be modern, spiritual, and brutally brilliant all at once. And don't even get me started on family. Somehow, in the middle of running nations and navigating conflict zones, they raise kids, manage households, and still find time to outdress you at brunch. They juggle more hats than a magician on Red Bull. It's not feminism, it's functionality. No whining. No waiting. Just doing. So listen carefully. If you're intimidated, good. You should be. Because Israeli women aren't asking for permission. They've already built the future. You're just catching up. So drop a 14 in the comments if you respect the grind, the fire, and the raw edge these women bring every single day. Number 11. Diamonds without mines. Alright, let's get real about this. Israel, a country with 0 diamond mines, not one single sparkling rock dug out of its soil, is somehow one of the world's top diamond processing hubs. That's right, 0 mines. Yet, Israel shines so bright it makes the other diamond countries look like they showed up with costume jewelry. You might be thinking, wait, how the hell do you become a diamond king without owning the mines? It's simple. You don't just sit there waiting for rocks to fall in your lap. You hustle, you grind, and you perfect your craft until your name alone is a damn brand. Welcome to Ramat Gan, the city that's like the Wall Street of diamonds, but with way more sparkle and less overpriced suits. Over 500 companies are crammed into that space, all obsessed with making stones so perfect they could blind a bat. These folks don't just cut diamonds, they sculpt miracles with the precision of a brain surgeon and the soul of an artist. It's the ultimate blend of cutting-edge technology and old-school craftsmanship. The kind of stuff where you hold your breath because one wrong move and you've just turned $1 million rock into a glorified paperweight. And here's the kicker, these Israeli diamond cutters are behind some of the most brilliant gems in the world. We're talking about the diamonds embedded in luxury watches that make you feel fancy just looking at them, and those engagement rings that people go broke over to pop the question. Yeah, those flash-in-your-face beauties? Chances are an Israeli artisan was the wizard behind their shine. It's like being the best chef in the world, but you don't grow a single ingredient. Instead, you turn whatever you get into a Michelin star masterpiece. While other countries are busy patting themselves on the back for owning mines, Israel is quietly owning the game by making the world's diamonds actually worth staring at. So if you ever find yourself gawking at a sparkling rock and wondering why it looks like it swallowed the sun, remember, it's probably got an Israeli's blood, sweat, and insane attention to detail behind it. They took nothing and turned it into everything. So drop a 11 in the comments if you respect the grind of turning zero into a freaking empire. Number 10. Startup Nation. Alright, listen up. Everyone talks about Silicon Valley like it's the holy grail of tech, like some untouchable god sitting on a golden throne of innovation. But guess what? That crown is getting a serious challenge, straight from a country smaller than your average US state. Israel. Yeah, you heard me right. With over 6,000 startups crammed into this tiny rock in the Middle East, Israel isn't just playing the game, they're rewriting the damn rulebook. More startups per capita than any other country. That's not luck, that's obsession, that's grit, that's brains, and that's a middle finger to the naysayers who thought a tiny country surrounded by conflict would be too busy surviving to actually thrive. From AI that makes your phone smarter than your average genius, to cybersecurity that actually keeps hackers awake at night, to biotech that's changing how we treat diseases, Israel is everywhere. They're the quiet kid in class who suddenly blasts the loudest, smartest answer that leaves the teacher speechless. And Tel Aviv? Calling it the Silicon Valley of the Middle East is like calling a rocket a fancy firework. It's the epicenter of entrepreneurial energy, a non-stop, adrenaline-fueled sprint where failure is just the first draft of success. Startups pop up like weeds, and while some get crushed, others explode into global game-changers that make the whole world take notice. Here's the funny part. People assume innovation only happens where money is stacked like pancakes. Nope. Israel proves you don't need endless cash to create the next big thing. You need brains, balls, and the kind of stubborn persistence that says, you think this tiny country can't out-innovate your giant? Watch me. It's not all sunshine and unicorns though. The pressure, the risk, the sleepless nights are real. But that's exactly why Israel's startups don't just survive, they dominate. Because when the chips are down, and the world's watching, they don't fold. They double down. So yeah, next time you hear about some tech miracle, check the fine print. There's a damn good chance it's got an Israeli startup's fingerprints all over it. And if you think innovation is slowing down anytime soon, think again. This country is just getting started. So drop a 10 in the comments if you're ready to respect a nation that's making the impossible look like a Tuesday. And buckle up, fact number 9 is next, and it's going to shake up everything you thought you knew. Number 9, Waste Not, world leader in wastewater recycling. Strap in because this one might just make you question everything you thought about water and waste. Israel, a desert nation where rain is about as common as a polite Twitter comment, somehow recycles over 90% of its wastewater. Let that sink in. 90%. That's not just good, it's a goddamn global gold standard. While the rest of the world pisses away water like it's free, spoiler, it's not, Israel is out here treating water like liquid gold. And honestly, it should embarrass the hell out of everyone else. You ever hear about the Shafdan plant? No? Well, you should. This place is a freaking wizard of wastewater recycling, turning what most people consider disgusting sludge into water, so clean it helps grow crops and keeps parks green. It's the ultimate don't waste what you don't have mentality, and frankly, it's about time more countries got the memo. Look, I get it, talking about wastewater might not be the sexiest topic at dinner parties. But it should be, especially when you realize that this is a masterclass in water sustainability. It's not just some environmental buzzword thrown around by folks who carry reusable straws. This is survival. This is innovation driven by necessity, by the harsh reality of living in a desert where water is more precious than gold-plated iPhones. And here's the kicker, Israel is not just doing it because they want to win some green trophy. They're doing it because they have no choice. When your nation is surrounded by arid land and political chaos, you get tough, or you get thirsty. Israel chose tough. They looked at a problem that would make most countries cry and decided, we're going to recycle 90% of our wastewater and make the rest of you look like amateurs. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the world, You see people watering their lawns during a drought or letting taps run like they're in a never-ending shower commercial. It's the kind of stupidity that makes you want to scream at your TV. So yeah, Israel's water recycling game? It's not just impressive, it's a downright slap in the face to the lazy, wasteful, and clueless. They turned the grossest, most ignored resource into a lifeline. If that doesn't earn some respect, I don't know what will. Drop a 9 in the comments if you think wasting water should be a crime and you respect a country that gets real about survival. Number 8. Agriculture in the desert. Alright, listen closely because this is one of those facts that should make you simultaneously jealous and furious. Israel exports over 1.3 million tons of fresh produce annually. Yeah, you heard that right. A desert country, a literal sandpit, is growing more fresh fruits and veggies than most of us could dream of eating in a year. While you're struggling to keep a basil plant alive on your windowsill, Israel is out here feeding the world. And how? Because they invented drip irrigation. Not just any irrigation, drip irrigation. The most basic, genius, water-saving farming hack that the rest of the world should have copied by now but mostly hasn't. Drip irrigation isn't just a fancy gadget. It's a goddamn revolution. This system delivers water straight to the roots. No waste, no runoff, no pissing away water like it's a free soda fountain. It's like the difference between sipping water through a straw versus chugging it all over the place like you're in a college party gone wrong. And that difference? It boosts crop yields dramatically. The math here is simple: less water wasted, more crops grown. Genius, right? You might think this is common sense, but no. Somehow, drip irrigation is a secret that Israel owns like a boss, while the rest of the world continues watering crops like they're trying to start a swamp. But wait, there's more. Israel didn't stop at just drip irrigation. Oh no, they've thrown AI, moisture sensors, and desert-hardy crops into the mix like a chef throwing in secret spices. Imagine sensors that tell a farmer exactly when a plant is thirsty, or AI systems optimizing water use so well it's like the plants are getting spot treatments tailored by NASA engineers. It's a farming nerd's dream and a desert's nightmare, because instead of wilting under the sun, crops are thriving in the sand like it's some miracle. Here's what really grinds my gears. Countries blessed with lush soil and tons of water often take it for granted and waste it like crazy. Meanwhile, Israel's out here proving that when you face brutal conditions, you don't give up, you get smarter, tougher, and more relentless. They turned a goddamn desert into a green powerhouse. So yeah, next time you bite into an Israeli tomato or crunch on some export-grade cucumbers, remember, it took brains, balls, and a serious middle finger to the impossible to make that happen. Drop a 8 in the comments if you respect a country that makes deserts bloom while others just complain about droughts. And hold on tight, Fact 7 is coming next, and it's gonna make you rethink everything about technology and tradition. Number 7. The Dead Sea, nature's buoyant spa. Ever wonder where on earth you can literally float without trying, like you're defying gravity itself, without any fancy gear or struggling? Welcome to the Dead Sea, where nature laughs at your swimming skills. Alright, buckle up, because I'm about to lay down some cold, salty truth about the Dead Sea, and trust me, it's way more than just a place to Instagram your floating selfie while pretending you're on some fancy spa vacation. The Dead Sea sits 435 meters below sea level. Yes, that's not a typo. That means it's the lowest point on Earth. And if you're thinking, cool, low is low, well, hold on, because it also happens to be possibly the saltiest body of water on the planet. And no, I'm not talking about your ex's attitude. This salt content makes the ocean look like baby tears. Now, the real kicker here is how effortlessly you float. Ever tried floating in a regular pool? It's a struggle, right? You're kicking, flailing, trying not to swallow water like it's your job. But the Dead Sea? You just lie back, relax, and boom, you're defying gravity like some salty superhero. No muscles needed. The salt density is so high, it holds your sorry ass up better than any floatie or fancy flotation device. It's the only place on Earth where your inability to swim doesn't mean you're drowning a second later. Talk about a natural life hack. And here's the part everyone conveniently skips when they're busy showing off those floating pics. That thick, mineral-rich mud slathered all over your body? That's not just some Instagram filter in mud form. This mud is world-renowned for skin and joint therapy. People have been smearing themselves with it for centuries because it's packed with minerals that soothe skin conditions and help with arthritis and other aches. That's right, the Dead Sea is like Mother Nature's ultimate anti-aging cream and painkiller rolled into one. If you're out here spending a fortune on fancy lotions that don't do jack, maybe take a cue from a sea that's been doing this long before your skincare routine was a thing. But here's what really pisses me off. The Dead Sea is shrinking. Yep, thanks to human idiocy and mismanagement, this miracle spa is drying up fast. So while people are out here getting their nature's jacuzzi fix, the real treasure is vanishing. And what are we doing? Nothing enough. It's like watching a 5-star restaurant burn down because someone left the stove on and all we do is post sad hashtags. Wake up. So yeah, next time you see those floating selfies, remember there's a damn crisis behind that salty glow. Drop a 7 in the comments if you'd risk the Dead Sea's salt sting just for that effortless float. Number 6. Little known wonders. Albert Einstein was once invited to be Israel's president. He declined. It's the birthplace of Krav Maga, and the only nation to have more trees today than 50 years ago. Civil marriage isn't permitted domestically, but recognized if performed abroad. Fascinating contrasts, right? Okay, hold up. Let's break this down before your brain decides to scroll. Because if that opening didn't slap you awake, I don't know what will. First of all, Einstein was asked to be president? Let that sink in. You've got a country that looks at the smartest man to ever grow out a wild fro and says, "Wanna run the place?" That's like asking Elon Musk to manage your corner pizza shop. It's wild, but it speaks volumes. Israel doesn't just play the game, they rewrite the damn rulebook. They shoot their shot, even if it's with theoretical physicists who'd rather mess with atoms than politics. Respect. Now let's talk Krav Maga, aka the street fight's final boss. Israel gave the world a martial art that basically says, forget the rules, win the fight. It's ugly, it's brutal, it works. And it's the reason your drunk cousin who took 2 lessons now thinks he can take on 3 guys at once in a bar fight. Spoiler, he can't. But the point is, Israel doesn't just defend itself, it creates whole systems to dominate in survival. That's not just smart, it's evolutionary warfare with a black belt. Then there's more trees now than 50 years ago. Who else can say that? Everyone's busy turning forests into parking lots, and here's Israel, literally reforesting the desert. They're planting trees where even hope used to tap out. You ever try keeping a houseplant alive in your apartment? Yeah, Israel's out here greening sand dunes while your ficus is begging for mercy in a pot. That's levels. Now for the twist. No civil marriage inside the country. You want to marry outside religious institutions? Sorry, buddy. Book a flight. That's right. Couples are hopping over to Cyprus just to say I do because domestic laws stuck in the Old Testament. Wild, right? A nation pioneering AI, recycling wastewater like a boss, inventing drip irrigation, and still making lovebirds take a ferry for legal recognition. It's frustrating, ironic, and pure Israeli contradiction. Drop a 6 in the comments if your jaw dropped somewhere between Einstein and eloping overseas. Number 5. Festivals of Faith. Passover, Hanukkah, and Rosh Hashanah mark key moments in Jewish history. Whether it's lighting the menorah or sharing apples and honey, these festivals unite families and reinforce cultural roots. Now listen, and listen good, because this isn't your Pinterest-style festive vibes only rundown. No, these aren't just Instagrammable holidays with a side of brisket. These festivals are Israel's spine. Its soul. And you know what? Most of the world has no idea how powerful that is. Passover? That's not just about matzo and storytelling. It's a full-on annual mic drop. A global reminder that freedom isn't handed to you, it's fought for, generation after generation. While the rest of us are out here whining because the Wi-Fi slow or DoorDash forgot the extra sauce, Israelis are sitting down as families, retelling the story of escaping slavery in Egypt like it just happened last week. That's called generational trauma, turned into generational strength. Can your brunch do that? Hanukkah? Please. You think it's Israel's version of Christmas? You've missed the plot entirely. It's not about gifts, it's about defiance. It's literally, we had 1 day's worth of oil, and made it last 8. You know what we make last 8 days now? A Netflix subscription trial. These people made a miracle out of scraps, while we can't even make our salary last until next Tuesday. That's not a holiday, it's a philosophy. Do more with less and light it up anyway. And don't even get me started on Rosh Hashanah. Apples and honey? Cute. But it's also about accountability. It's sitting down with yourself, yes you, and saying, where did I mess up? How do I fix it? Not next year. Now. Imagine if every country did that once a year. We'd have fewer toxic bosses, less gaslighting politicians, and way more people just owning their crap instead of blaming Mercury in retrograde. These festivals aren't just culture, they're survival mechanisms in disguise. In a world that's losing its identity faster than it loses TikTok trends, Israel's holding the line. They're saying, this is who we are. And we're not apologizing for it. So yeah, laugh all you want at the candles, the chants, the traditions you don't understand. But at the end of the day, while you're binging pumpkin spice, they're preserving a 5,000-year-old legacy with every bite and every blessing. Drop a 5 in the comments if you're starting to see the fire behind the festivals. Because number 4? That one's going to slap your expectations upside the head. Number 4. tourism unlike anywhere else. From the underwater Red Sea Star restaurant to the ancient Masada fortress and mysterious Gilgal Rephaim stone circles, Israel offers experiences found nowhere else. Oh, and it hosts the world's largest ancient dog cemetery too. Let me ask you something. How many times are you going to post pictures of the Eiffel Tower and call it a life-changing vacation? How many basic beach resorts are you going to lie on before you realize you're paying thousands just to sweat in a fancier location? Wake up. Israel isn't your grandma's tourist trap. This place serves up one-of-a-kind weirdness, wonder, and WTH moments on a silver platter. And you're still scrolling Expedia for Bali? Get out of here. Let's start with this. An underwater restaurant in the freaking Red Sea. Yeah, you eat while fish watch you chew. It's like dining in a reverse aquarium, except classier, more surreal, and 100% guaranteed to destroy every brunch flex your friends ever posted. Then there's Masada Fortress, perched like a damn crown on top of a desert cliff. Roman-era rebels made their last stand there, and you can hike it today while sweating out your Uber Eats guilt. This ain't no theme park. This is ancient defiance baked into the rocks. You feel the struggle in the air. Meanwhile, tourists are out here posing with churros at Disneyland like it's sacred ground. And don't even blink when I say Gilgal Rephaim, stone circles older than your belief in aliens. Historians can't explain it. Locals shrug. You walk through it wondering if it's a burial site, a clock, or the original group chat from 5,000 years ago. Mystical. Bizarre. Unsolved. And it's sitting right there, no VIP ticket needed. But wait, plot twist, an ancient dog cemetery. That's right. Thousands of dogs. Buried. With love. Centuries ago. Who else even has that? Meanwhile, most cities can't keep a dog park clean. Israel's out here preserving pet tombs like royalty. Fido had it better than some of us do today. Look, tourism in Israel isn't about checking boxes. It's about checking your expectations. It's spiritual, strange, goosebump-inducing, and real. So stop chasing Instagram likes and start chasing something that actually changes you. Drop a comment below. What's the wildest travel experience you've ever had? Because wait till you see what's coming in number 3. Number 3, high income, high costs. With an average salary over $4,000 per month, Israel ranks high in income, but expenses are steep. Tel Aviv was named the world's most expensive city in 2021. Rent, food, and even coffee can break your budget. Would you dare live here? Let's cut the fake glam narrative, shall we? Everyone's drooling over Israel's fat paychecks like it's a magical land of milk and money. Oh, $4,000 a month? Sounds amazing, until you realize your rent is $2,800, your groceries cost more than your childhood trauma, and that $5 coffee? It slaps you harder than your ex ever did. Welcome to Tel Aviv, where your bank account goes to die with class. Let's be real, high income sounds sexy until reality bites. Israel gives you a decent salary, sure. But you better pray you don't like eating, breathing, or occasionally turning on the lights. Because once the bills roll in, that $4,000 turns into monopoly money. Ever seen a grown adult calculate if they can afford cheese this week? In Tel Aviv, that's called Tuesday. And let's talk about that most expensive city in the world title. Tel Aviv snatched that crown in 2021 like it was a flex. Like, oh, we beat Paris, New York, and Tokyo. Yay. No. That's not an achievement. That's a cry for help. You're paying Tokyo prices without Tokyo trains. Without Paris fashion. Without New York nightlife. You're basically living on a beachfront iPhone charger. Sleek, compact, overpriced, and somehow always hot. Oh, and let's not even discuss rent. You want a decent one-bedroom in Tel Aviv? That'll cost you both kidneys, your childhood bicycle, and maybe your soul. Want to split with roommates? Cool. Just ignore the fact that your bedroom is actually a converted laundry closet, and your kitchen doubles as a shoe rack. But here's the thing. People still come. Why? Because in Israel, you're not just buying a home, you're buying history, tech innovation, sunshine, and the kind of chaotic energy that makes life feel like it matters. It's stupid expensive, yes. But boring? Never. So tell me, would you rather exist somewhere cheap, or feel alive somewhere pricey? Drop your opinion in the comments. And brace yourself, because what you're about to learn in number 2 might just make your jaw hit the floor. Number 2, no constitution? No problem. Instead of a single written constitution, Israel relies on its basic laws. Despite the unique system, its democracy has thrived for over 75 years. The legal system blends influences from Jewish, Islamic, British, and modern Western laws. Wait, what? A country with one of the most volatile regions on Earth, home to some of the world's sharpest minds, top-tier technology, a nuclear arsenal, and a capital that makes headlines every other week. And there's no formal constitution? Are you kidding me? That's like driving a race car with no seatbelt. Like running a global tech empire on sticky notes. Like building skyscrapers with IKEA instructions. You might get there, but don't act like it's a smooth ride. Instead, they've got these basic laws, which honestly sound like a temporary fix someone slapped together in the middle of a late-night falafel runback in 1948. And guess what? They've been winging it ever since. For 75 years. And here's the kicker, it's working. Somehow, this chaotic legal buffet of Jewish law, Islamic law, British common law, and Western democratic ideals manages to function. It's like a legal stew made from everyone's grandma's recipe. And somehow, it doesn't poison the pot. But don't get it twisted, just because it's functional doesn't mean it's not a legal minefield. Every court decision is like flipping a coin while solving a Rubik's Cube underwater. Good luck predicting how a law will evolve when the country itself is still debating what legal framework even means. Imagine explaining this to a kid in civics class. So this is Israel. They don't have a constitution. So what do they use? Well, a handful of laws, a ton of arguments, and a very stressed out Supreme Court. And this works. Somehow. Don't ask. But here's the punchline. They're still one of the most resilient democracies on the planet. While other nations with polished constitutions crumble under coups, corruption, and cable news, Israel is out here debating everything, challenging everything, yet holding the line. No guidebook. No script. Just raw, relentless, democratic chaos. Is it perfect? Heck no. Is it fascinating? Absolutely. Now tell me, would your country survive a week without a constitution? Hit the comments. And don't blink, because number 1 might just change everything you thought you knew. Number 1, Jerusalem, the holiest city on earth. 3 faiths, 1 city. For Jews, it's home to the Wailing Wall. For Christians, the site of Jesus' crucifixion. For Muslims, the place of Muhammad's ascension. Sacred, historic, and endlessly captivating, Jerusalem is the spiritual heart of billions. Let me ask you something. How does one tiny piece of real estate, barely the size of a mall parking lot, command the attention, obsession, and devotion of literally billions of people? It's like the cosmic version of everyone fighting over the same bathroom. Jerusalem isn't just a city, it's emotional TNT. It's sacred ground, battleground, tourist town, and political chessboard all rolled into one. And every square inch? Charged like a live wire. You can't walk 10 steps without tripping over history, prophecy, or somebody's extremely sacred belief. You've got Jews praying at the Wailing Wall with centuries of tears soaked into the stone. Christians retracing the blood-soaked steps of Jesus with selfie sticks in hand. And Muslims facing the Dome of the Rock with devotion so intense, it'll put your Wi-Fi signal to shame. All of them convinced, absolutely convinced, this city belongs to them. And the tension? Oh, the tension is thick. You could butter toast with it. Everyone says, peace be upon you, but they're also side-eyeing each other like it's a spiritual standoff. One spark, one misstep, and the whole city feels like it's 5 seconds away from a theological street fight. But here's the real kicker. Despite the chaos, despite the claims and clashes, Jerusalem still stands. It survives. It breathes. It draws in pilgrims and presidents, saints and sinners, all walking the same paths, staring at the same skyline, and feeling something so ancient it makes your problems feel embarrassingly small. And maybe that's the point. You don't come to Jerusalem for comfort. You come to get shook. To feel your spirit rattle. To stand where prophets once screamed at clouds, where empires collapsed, and where hope still somehow hangs in the dusty holy air. So yeah, call it holy. Call it haunted. Call it home. Just don't call it simple. Now I want to hear it from you. If you had just one day in the world's most fought-over city, which wall would you touch first? Drop it in the comments, and don't forget, there's more truth coming your way. Stay alert. Let's cut the fluff. Israel is a walking contradiction that still manages to outpace half the world. They've got no constitution, yet their democracy hasn't collapsed like a Jenga tower. They turn desert sand into salad bars, recycle toilet water into farm gold, and somehow pay $8 for a cup of coffee in Tel Aviv without rioting in the streets. If that didn't wake you up, you're probably the kind of person who still thinks Wi-Fi comes from the sky gods. So now I'm asking you, what shook you the most? Was it the diamonds with no mines? The underwater restaurant? The dog cemetery? Be honest, you didn't see half of that coming, did you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't be cute, I want real opinions. Let's debate, let's fight, let's actually think for once on YouTube. And if you've got the guts to handle more truth bombs like this, subscribe. Like the video. Smash the bell. Or scroll back to your cat videos. It's your soul, not mine. This was bold, this was loud, and you're welcome. P.S. This video is for reference purpose, only be sure to do your own research before making any decisions. Thank you.